Game consoles have always been a convenient choice to play your games, but let's be honest, PC gaming will always be the superior choice. Now, I'm going to show you how to get into a PC gaming rig on a budget. Stay tuned. Now, there's many ways to getting into a gaming PC. You can buy a pre-built one, but that always comes out expensive. Or you can build one yourself, but you may run into some problems if you don't know what you're doing. So, I'm going to tell you the easy way, and that is getting a business desktop like a Dell, right? You can find them on Newegg for like $100, $150. Some local shops might have them for the same price, but honestly, just go to Newegg and order a Dell computer, something with a Core i5 at least, clocked at 3.2 gigahertz at least, and something with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, don't worry about if it has an SSD or HDD. Like, don't worry about that. I recently bought a Dell computer and it's on its way. It'll be here tomorrow, actually, and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM, has a Core i5 6th gen, and it's clocked at 3.25 gigahertz. I believe if I stand correctly, yeah. And it has an SSD. Now, again, the whole point is to get into it, right? Later on, you're going to buy more upgrades. You're going to get more RAM. You're going to get a better processor. You're going to get a better GPU, so on and so forth. Buying a business desktop is just to get you started. That's all it is. A common misconception of PC gaming is it's too expensive. GPUs costing upwards to $1,000. CPUs costing 300-400 bucks. Listen, if you're only gonna be playing games, you don't need a humongous GPU. You don't need a quadruple X whatever, 7 thread. No, 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 no. Listen, I think people get too deep when it comes to gaming on a PC. Literally, get yourself a good quad core processor. More cores, the better, of course. At least 16 gigabytes of RAM. The more, the merrier, of course. And a decent GPU, at least for something with 2 gigabytes of, video memory. Of course, the more, the merrier. But let me tell you this, right? After you get yourself a business computer, all you gotta do from there is pretty much just upgrade the power supply and get a GPU that fits, and that it's gonna be compatible with your rig. And that's literally it. From there, you make adjustments and you upgrade as you go. Now you're probably wondering, okay, you told me to get this, you told me to get that. Where do I start? Newegg, like I mentioned before, Newegg is a good website to get all your PC parts, so on and so forth. There's a ton of options, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to give you some references. You may want to get a pencil or a pen and write something down. Okay, so like I mentioned, the GPU, which is the graphics card, you want at least 2 gigabytes of video RAM, and you want it to be at least GDDR5. That's the speed of the RAM, okay? Again, if you can afford more, get more, but at least 2 gigabytes of video RAM. All right. Now, if you bought the business desktop and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM and a quad core processor like an i5 6th gen, don't worry about the RAM or anything else with the CPU. Now, the next thing you need to worry about is the power supply. The power supply, you're going to want at least minimum 500 watts of power. Okay? Again, if you can get more, get more. Now, you're going to notice there's going to be like, oh, 80 bronze plus, so on. That doesn't really matter when it comes to the gaming experience. Okay, that's more like efficiency of how much power consumption and whatnot. Okay, so 80 bronze minimum, that's it. Okay, again, if you can afford something better, go right ahead. Now, when it comes to the power supply, you're going to want to look up which one is compatible with the computer that you buy. Okay, don't just buy any power supply. You're going to have to look that up. Look up the computer that you're buying and type in compatible power supplies with this computer. Okay? Now, graphics card. Again, it's probably going to be a low profile because most business desktops are small form factors, right? So, low profiles typically fit in those small little cases. Now, you could swap out the motherboard and everything else, all the components, and put it in a bigger case. But now we're going to be cutting into our budget. The whole point is just to get you into PC gaming, and then later on, when you have the money, you go ahead and upgrade. Now, there is more information that I can give you, but I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I'm pretty sure anyone who comes across this video that knows anything about PC gaming is gonna be like, well, you're not talking about the CUDA cores and the, 64-bit, 120, something, whatever. Listen, right now, I'm just trying to get you in, okay? Trying to get you started. That's the whole point of this video. I'll make a video on explaining these parts, or I'll explain the parts that I get once my computer gets here. Okay, this is just trying to get you started. Now that I've given you a kind of a generalization of how to get into a budget gaming PC rig, let's go ahead and recap and talk some numbers, okay? So, business computer, 100, $150. GPU, depending where you get it, Newegg, you can find them anywhere between a decent one, 80 to about $100. Now, you can go on other places like eBay, just gotta be very careful because a lot of people use GPUs to mine Bitcoin and you don't want one of those. Okay, so just be very mindful. So, and other than that, the power supply. Power supply shouldn't be too much money. Like, I mean, honestly, you can find cheap ones for like $30, $40. I mean, you really can. It's just be careful. There's a couple of brands I will recommend. It's called CoolMax, and that's a brand that I used when I first built my first gaming PC. It was a good power supply. Be very careful. Do your research. Of course, like anything, you see something that you want to buy, do a Google search or do a YouTube search, right? Hey, get a review on that part before you purchase it. Same goes for the GPU, and same goes for everything else, okay? Now, the GPUs, there's so many different brands, but essentially they're all pretty much the same with their little specs differences here and there, okay? NVIDIA is probably going to be your best choice when it comes to overall performance, okay? But again, don't shy away from AMD. AMD has some good graphics cards as well, especially the Radeon series and whatnot. When it comes to the power supply, like I said, Coolmax, good brand. There's some other ones out there that I can't really remember right now, but that's pretty much it. Now, when it comes to the RAM, if you want to upgrade the RAM, if you want to go from 16 to 32, you can if the motherboard allows it. Not every motherboard allows you to upgrade, so just keep that in mind. You might be clock stopped at 16 gigabytes of RAM. Again, do your research before you buy the computer. Okay. Um, when it comes to the CPU, most motherboards will allow you to upgrade to the next one that's available, but again, not always. Some of these business desktops, that's it. CPU that you have in there, you can't upgrade. The RAM you got in there, you can't upgrade. So just do your research on the business desktop that you end up buying. Okay. Now, for your storage, most of these business computers are going to have an SSD nowadays, so it's just pretty good. So you're already ahead of the game. There's still some people out there who have a hard drive, so loading times are going to be so much better for you with the SSD. But they're probably going to be 250 gigabytes or 220 gigabytes of storage. So you could upgrade, but again, if you're just trying to keep it as, budget friendly as possible, just work with what you got and then from there upgrade. The last thing you want to do is buy all these parts, right? Spend 3, 4, $500, and then realize either you don't that's not what you were looking for, or you know what, it's too much for what you're playing. Like if you're playing Minecraft or something, if you're playing Minecraft, you shouldn't really have to upgrade 16 gigabytes of RAM and a quad core processor. You should be able to play Minecraft just fine. This laptop that I'm using, it's a MacBook Air from 2013. It plays Minecraft, okay? No problem, so don't sweat it. But if you're going to be playing some more graphically intensive games, then you're going to want to make sure you build your PC based off the games you play, okay? It doesn't matter if you go out and get the best GPU, best this, best that, if you're only playing Roblox or Minecraft, or Rocket League or whatever, right? Find out the games you're playing, look at the recommended specs, okay, or the minimum specs, and build off that. Try to go recommended specs, not minimum, okay? So, again, look at the games you're playing, look up the specs, and try to build your PC around those specs to enjoy your game. Now, of course, since it is a budget PC, you're probably not going to get, that full potential out of the game just yet. But this is going to be a starting point. Okay, and I'm so excited to hear from any of you all who ends up building their PC and and sharing their experience. Okay, I really do encourage it. So that being said, I'll go ahead and give you my little experience on my first PC that I built. The first PC I built, I literally spent $350 and I built it from the ground up. I watched the video how to build a gaming PC And from there, the rest is history. I've probably built over, I don't know, dozens of gaming PCs already, and I'm working on my next one right now. So my other one, I fortunately had to get rid of it, so I just ordered, that Dell computer, and that's how I build most of my PCs. I get a Dell computer, slap a GPU, increase the power supply, and there you go. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Any concerns, and let me know, in the comments below, any questions, because that's how I'm gonna know how to move forward and how to help you. Right now, this video is just kind of just put together real quick, just to kind of help you and get you into PC gaming, and hopefully it encourages you, it opens up your mind to, hey, you know what? I don't gotta build a PC. I can just, get a business desktop and then go from there. And I'm not the only one that probably gives this advice, but I'm just letting you know it's a good way to go about it. I went that way, recently, and I'm gonna go that way again, and I think you should too. So anyway, I'll go ahead and see you on the next video. I appreciate you so much for watching and making it this far. Sorry for all the rambling. So again, see you on the next one. Bye bye.